Welcome to my garden. My name is Kimberly. I'm going to give you a tour today. It's changed a lot since my last garden tour in my perpetual garden here in Ecuador. So we're in our windy season. It's August and this is when we get a lot of winds, and so things dry out very quickly. The garden doesn't look as lush and green, but there's still plenty going on here. Lots of things that I can harvest, and I continue to plant new things for the coming season. I'm so thankful that we have a well because we need to do a lot of watering during the dry season. Most of the year I do little or no watering in my garden, but lately this is something I've been doing a lot of, and I'm so happy to have this water source. The thing that's looking the best at the moment are my flowers. I swapped out some of the bulbs that I had here that were looking a little tired and added in petunias and zinnias and delphinium, larkspur, and I'm really enjoying that. Have this volunteer butternut squash plant here that looked so promising. I let it stay, but it's only produced butternut squash with big splits in it. So I've harvested one already and cooked it up for the birds, and I'll be doing the same with this one. I've got purple cabbages. Cabbage is a mainstay in my garden. Beets, we've harvested most of those. Onions. Sage, which is something new to my garden. I'm not really used to cooking with sage. If you have any ideas for me how I should use it, let me know in the comments. I've got a new planting of some zucchini plants here. They're looking pretty good. I still have random lettuces everywhere where I scattered seeds. I've got green cabbages. My more established planting of carrots. More broccoli, pretty bird singing its song. More zucchini plants down here. Some new ones. I really love zucchini. It's something I eat a lot of and share with neighbors. And the plants just haven't been thriving the way they normally do when we get more rain, but we're still getting zucchini nonetheless. As you can see, I have a whole succession of different cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower. These are things that I just keep in my garden on rotation. And I'm doing a lot more with onions. So here's my most recent planting of onions. Again, they're just not looking super promising. In spite of our efforts of watering them, they're still looking a little dried out. This newest planting of beets really looks lush. Been enjoying a lot of this romaine lettuce, but it's getting a little too far, like it wants to bolt, and I've been giving a lot of this to the chickens, and they're really loving it. This tall plant over here is fennel, and I've been letting that go to seed. I've always got something in my garden I'm letting go to seed, whether it's cilantro, bok choy, fennel, something. I harvest the seeds and the birds enjoy them and it attracts pollinators. So my garden is always in a state of succession planting. I never have a time where all my plants are well established and lush and looking amazing. I always have something that's newly planted, something that's about halfway there, something that's ready to be harvested, and something that's going to seed. It's just part of the whole process, and I embrace it. Next to the fennel, I have my other onions. I've got onions in 3 places. The ones that are the most developed, the newest ones, and then these. And these are looking pretty good. They're close to the compost pile. It seems that maybe they get a little more shade, and maybe they're a little protected from the wind because they're not as battered looking as the newest ones. The rhubarb always looks pretty good. Something that's been missing from my garden for a while is parsley. In the past, I've grown parsley really well. I've allowed parsley to go to seed. I've harvested thousands of seeds, and I've tried planting them without success. So I'm happy that I now have parsley. Here, let me show you. This parsley plant that I purchased is just absolutely thriving in my garden, and I'm really happy for it. Here I've got a Romanesco ready to be harvested, as well as cabbage. I think I'll be making some more sauerkraut. If you haven't seen my video on sauerkraut, you can check it out on my channel. The short on sauerkraut has proved to be my most popular ever. So I guess that's a topic a lot of you are interested in. Here in the lower garden, I'm really happy with my new asparagus bed. It's becoming well established, and I've been picking a few asparagus spears and really enjoying those. Soon I'll be cutting all this ferny growth back, and we'll get a really good harvest. The lemon trees produced so abundantly for months, and now they've slowed down. And the sweet potatoes are doing okay here under the lemon trees. This avocado tree that we had grafted, the grafts really took, and they're taking off. This other one over here, some of the grafts took, you can see, but some of them did not. Something I'm very happy to be seeing again are all these monarch butterfly caterpillars. This particular bush is just loaded, and they're getting so big. I haven't seen the butterflies much lately, but obviously they've come around and laid their eggs. So my goal is to have more plants. This is my biggest, most lush plant, but coming over from there, I also have this one. My goal is to have more milkweed plants for my monarch butterflies, and so I can't do that unless I can get some seed. And every time they fill a plant, it seems that they fill it too full. I always wonder, should I remove some of these caterpillars? Should I do some selective culling of some of them so the others have a better fighting chance to get enough food to reach maturity? What are your thoughts on that? I'd like to know. So far, I've never destroyed any caterpillars, but I have tried moving them from one plant to another in the hopes of getting some seeds from at least a few of my plants. Here in the greenhouse, I'm growing tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, basil, oregano, eggplant, jalapenos, lots of wonderful things in the greenhouse. And it's been a while since we've had the plants this lush and beautiful. I'm thrilled that my tomato plants are doing as well as they are. We've got lots of green tomatoes, and this is our first ripe slicing tomato. I've been harvesting some of these grape tomatoes for a while, but this is the first red one I'm picking off. So I've tried a different variety here. I don't know the name of it, but it's a grafted variety for my slicing tomatoes. And then I'm really excited here that I have some paste tomatoes, and I have 2 different varieties of those. I've never been successful here growing the paste tomatoes, so I'm really happy to be getting those. Let's come over here and take another look. These are just great. I'm excited. I've got a few that are starting to ripen even. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, as a general rule here in my garden, since I don't have off seasons in my garden, I'm not looking to have a huge harvest that I can preserve for the winter. I'm looking to have food that I can eat fresh throughout the entire year. But when it comes to these paste tomatoes, I would like to make some tomato sauce and can it and have it on my pantry shelf. I'm also happy to be getting some cucumbers now. We've been eating a lot of these fresh in our salads, and so I don't have any on this plant ready to harvest, but let's look at some others. This one's a good size. I think I'll harvest that. I've got about 6, 7 plants for cucumbers, and that's plenty for us to keep us in cucumbers and have enough to share with the neighbors. Over here on this first row coming into the greenhouse, I've replaced the pepper plants. Previously I had bell pepper plants here, and I'd gotten 3 different harvests out of them, but the plants were looking kind of old and sick and tired, and so I ripped those out and put in some fresh plants. So I look forward to getting more bell peppers from these. I believe the reason why my greenhouse is flourishing when the rest of my garden is struggling is because my greenhouse has drip irrigation, so it's not affected by the dry weather, and it's protected from the wind. My goal with these 2 lots is to alternate them between our birds and my food crops, but we haven't had nearly enough birds to clear the land. So let me show you what we've been doing to bring up our numbers. These 2 geese are sharing a nest, and we don't even think they've got fertilized eggs. But these chickens are sitting on eggs, and we've got ducks sitting on eggs as well. Here inside of the chicken house, my husband built this inner secluded area, and this is where we've been keeping our chicks. So these chicks hatched 2 weeks ago out of our incubator. I only got 6 chicks out of the 25 eggs, which was pretty low hatch rate, but I found that many of my eggs that I thought were fertile actually were not fertile. So we're grateful to have these 6. If you look closely, you'll also see our little duckling. By far the favorite egg laying or nesting box has been not a box, but here on top of this straw. This is where my hens keep laying. I've got a couple of wooden eggs in here right now. We have these to try to teach the birds not to peck at eggs, but I find eggs up here every day. And sometimes we've got birds that are making a lot of racket as they're waiting their turn. Someone's in the nest and someone else is ready to get in the nest, and she's letting them know to hurry up and get the business done because they're next. In addition to using our incubator, we went to a local agriculture shop and bought 50 new birds, and that's really done a lot for bringing up our numbers. We just can't wait till these get big and start working in the field, eating up and clearing all the grass. So these birds, we've had them for about a month now, and you can see just how much they've grown in a month's time. We paid $1.45 per bird, and they've been great. We have dealt with some illness problems, and sadly we've lost 3 of them to illness, but overall they've been growing and doing really great for us. Here in this hut, we have a mama that's been sitting on 15 eggs, and we think the eggs should be hatching really soon, definitely within this week. So far, we've not had a mother duck that successfully hatched her young. We have successfully hatched 2 ducklings in the house. This is the newest hut. No sooner had I constructed it, and the next day I found a duck egg in it. Now we have a mama, our original duck Daisy, sitting on eggs. Now this duck, if you've seen our earlier videos, such as DuckTales, she's sat on eggs twice before with no resulting ducklings. But she's trying again, and she's got 15 eggs as well. I'm adding them to this nest because I want to get ducklings from a variety of our birds, not just the ones that are willing to sit on eggs. We have one really beautiful female duck, and to my knowledge, she's not laid an egg, not made a nest. I'm not sure. But when I find random eggs, I always hope they might be hers, and I add them to another nest for someone else to incubate. Here in the house, I'm keeping this incubator going. I started it full with 25 eggs. After candling at 7 eggs, I removed those that were not fertile. We have another week left on these, and I have begun to collect new eggs to go in for the next batch. Our most recently hatched babies, we kept inside the house day and night for the first week. Now we just bring them in at night, but we take them out to that inner nursery area during the daytime, and they're really enjoying that. Look how excited they are to get out. They can all jump out now except for the little duckling. So I still have dreams of these birds clearing this land for me, but for now we're really just enjoying all these little babies. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye, friend.